Hello and welcome again to our staying at home video conference session. We obviously have been traveling the globe, virtually at least, for the last couple of weeks. We've been in Spain, we've been in Norway, Switzerland, and Spain again after. And now we're actually heading to Vienna, to Austria, to hook up with our trial specialist, Dominik Raab. Good afternoon, Dominik. It's nice to have you with us virtually for our virtual coffee break we're going to do.
Hi, Michael.
Thank you.
Thanks for having coffee with me.
And last time Dominik and I saw each other, it was actually in Vienna, in his hometown, where we enjoyed some rather strong coffee in one of the traditional coffee houses. So this is the next best thing to do it with a good old homemade coffee here. And obviously what we want to do with this little video session, we want to hook up with our various athletes and ambassadors to see what they're up to during the coronavirus pandemic, and maybe see if they've got a few tips and tricks they can share with us, which might make staying at home for you guys a little bit easier, but also to talk about their plans for the rest of the season when hopefully things are going to change again. So Dominik is, in comparison to the other athletes I've been talking to over the last few days, in a little bit of an interesting position, because Dominik, as some of you might remember, had a very heavy crash 2.5 years ago in Barcelona during a photo shoot. And it took him quite a long time to go back to normal, to what he can do now from a riding point of view or general living point of view. But obviously Dominik, during that sort of recuperation time, was confined to his own four walls himself, similar to what of us probably going through right now due to the coronavirus outbreak. So Dominik, I said you've been there before. Can you give us any sort of clever tips and tricks how we make this time where we have to probably stay at home to make sure that the virus doesn't spread any further? How can we make that time perhaps easier?
Yeah, I mean, the situation right now, it reminds me a little bit of the situation when I had my crash 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But even though when I had this crash a couple of years ago, I was in terrible pain, and right now it's only to stay at home and not ride your bike. So I would not compare these two situations, but what I can remember when I had my crash, and I think I had to spend 3 months at home, 3 months in a plaster cast. So I watched a lot of Netflix. So,
yeah.
So that's the reason why right now I can't watch Netflix anymore. But yeah, right now I do a lot of stretching, which is good for my foot, and some other exercises. And somehow there's always something to do. But yeah, right now we can't ride our bikes, but we can do other things.
And that's obviously the. We talked to Jose, Gunrita, etc., about what they can do in their country. What's the situation in Austria? I believe you are allowed to go out, but it's restricted in a way.
Yeah, we are allowed to go out, but only alone or with the person we are living with.
Okay, yeah.
So, and we are also allowed to go out and do sports. So it is allowed to go mountain biking, but so. Speaking of myself, I decided not to go mountain biking because I don't want to get hurt and end up going to a hospital. Maybe it's So I just go out and cruise around on my bicycle, or just go out for a walk or stuff like that. Yeah.
Riding at the moment for you is a no-go. You're literally concentrating on whatever exercises you can do at home. As you mentioned, stretching. And we had a little chat before. You obviously got a good idea of what people perhaps could do at home right now to perhaps increase their skills to maybe benefit from someone like yourself. Obviously, your sport of trials riding is very much focused on, it's very skills heavy. It's obviously body control, it's timing, all that is important. But you can argue all these things are also important for a normal cyclist, a normal mountain biker, let's say. If you're hitting the trail, if you are more skillful, have more body control, a better timing, that can only be helpful. You suggested earlier a little bit of an interesting exercise you suggest for people to do right now. What was that again?
Yeah, I mean, I would not recommend learning dangerous tricks right now. So that's not the right time. But I think what we can practice right now is a good old track stand.
Okay, yeah.
So I think you can practice a track stand even in the living room. So just put your bicycle in front of the TV and watch a good movie and try to balance your bike as long as it's possible.
Yeah, and we said earlier, we're both in the same position. Even if that's most likely something you do for your trials riding an awful lot, even to be able to do a track stand and have that sort of control, that really translates also to riding your bike on a trail where you come to a difficult section, maybe a difficult descent or something where you compose yourself before you then carry on. To be able to do this is a really handy trick, if you could call it a trick, but a handy skill to know. So it's very good advice. And as you said, it's easily done even in your living room or maybe in your garden, or if you have a forecourt or whatever it might be, without necessarily running the risk that you hurt yourself or others. Hopefully, obviously, with the restrictions we are currently in place in your country, here in the UK and other countries, there will be an end of this, hopefully, or sooner than we hope. What are you, I mean, I can imagine, I know what you're looking forward to, but what are you looking forward to when this is all lifted? And also, what other plans have you got for the season, which hopefully going to kick off at some point?
I mean, of course, I really look forward to ride my bike again. And I also really look forward to doing trials demos again.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, in Austria, 2 days ago, they said that all events are cancelled at least till the end of June. So I don't know when I do my first trials demo in 2020. And so beside the trials demos, I really look forward to doing this project with my teammate Alban Aubert.
Yep.
So the plan is to visit Scotland and some bike parks in Scotland with our enduro bikes.
Okay.
And so we are planning on going on this trip in September. Okay. So it might depend on the travel restrictions, but yeah. Anyway, I really look forward to doing this project.
Yeah, there's some great riding in Scotland, and hopefully, as you said, by September we will hopefully be in a different position with regards to traveling, and hopefully we have as much as possible beaten the virus. So I hope for your sake and for all our sakes that you be able to go through with that plan. Okay, that's great. Thanks a lot for your sort of time, Dominik. But before we go, I mean, what I would like you to see or ask, if you have any sort of final advice for our MERIDA fans out there, what they should be looking out for at the moment. You obviously touched already a couple of things, but if you get any sort of final advice, this is your chance.
Yeah, I hope everyone is healthy and safe at home.
Yeah.
And I think right now it's the time to enjoy the little things in life. And I think bike riding can wait a little bit, and we will all be able to ride our bikes again very soon.
Yeah, that's so true, and it's a nice finish to our little series. I mean, we obviously talked about this in every of our little installments over the last couple of weeks. From our point of view, we see it exactly the same as Dominik and as all the other ambassadors we spent some time with. This is not the time to go crazy. If you can ride your bike, go for it. It keeps you healthy. It keeps your mind in a straight line. So that's good. But make sure you keep your social distance, as most likely your government told you. And also don't go for any of the crazy lines. Don't do any tricks, as Dominik just suggested. This is not the time to do this. This is really time to focus on the other things in life. You don't get the chance to do that often. That could also be servicing your bike properly and maybe cleaning it once in a while. This is certainly something I'm going to be doing. So again, I would like to say to Dominik, to all our ambassadors over the last couple of weeks, fantastic to be able to do this in this little virtual living room and coffee break we managed to do. It's fantastic we have this tool that we can still communicate with each other, that we have the chance to see each other even. So finally, I would like to say, I hope whoever watched us over the last couple of weeks, you took something positive away from it, and maybe you picked up a couple of tricks and tips from our MERIDA riders. and maybe you just enjoyed listening to us and watching us talk about bike related things. So I hope you had a good time. Thanks for watching us. Thanks for Dominik for joining us. And before we go, once again, we would like to say, ride safe, stay healthy, and we hope we all see you soon out on the trails and lanes out there. Thanks again, Dominik, and have a good time. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.